what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, what time is it? Your show. Yeah, he's back from the dead. Your show. Putting it on the map, yeah. Saskatoon. Right next to New York. New York. Yeah, what show, yeah. Your show. What time is it? Your show. Yeah, time to talk some shit, yeah. Your show.
You've tuned in, yeah.
Yeah, fun Maggie. Bark, bark, wolf, wolf, move on to treat, yeah. Keep listening.
Hello and welcome to your show. Still the only live show on YouTube, Monday to Friday from 4 to 5 p.m., located in Saskatoon, and we are so damn proud to continue to be able to say that, and so damn proud to have you joining us here today. My name is Gary. I've been going with the term buxom. I also like to use busty. I'm your busty host. I think it has a nice ring to it. We also make up categories that we are number one in on YouTube. For instance, today we are the number one show on YouTube that is going live mere minutes after recording vocals for a song. Ooh, you leaned in there. That was pretty good. We're number one. We also have a camera that is world-renowned, a camera that all other animals only dream of having. That camera is the Maggie Cam. Check this out. She hit her spot early today. She's tuckered out because the snowfall happened finally, and she's been waiting for the snow, and she's been playing all day in the back, digging into mounds of snow and doing all sorts of husky things. So she's nicely tuckered and in her spot. The Maggie Cam for our best buddies over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Mike and Rochelle, along with their puppy Leroy, who is dating Maggie, always bring you the service you've come to know and love from our friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street. As well, if you go after hours or on the weekends, you'll see Kirsten, Char, or Chris, and they will also give you that incredible quality that you've come to love so much from our friends over at Pet Planet on 8th Street, your pet's natural grocer. Also, one hell of a cleaning station. I got to tell you, everyone who goes in there says they love that cleaning station. As Margaret drifts off to Puppyland, we get the show rolling. Tuesdays around here, we record before the live show. This being the live show, we record episodes of the All Out of Angst podcast. And then the boys stick around and we do a live show and sort of carry it over to a live version of said podcast. And we have one of the two members right now. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Uncle Mike.
Hey, Gary.
My
Thank
man.
you.
That was a new one. Was that a blast? What do you call that one? We got LB on the ones and twos today. Ah, that was a dip transition.
Where's the star wipe?
Oh, do we have star wipes? He's a mere mortal.
No, that's
right?
iMovie
Yeah.
2.1.
I always love those videos where guys would just go hard on the star swipes. Just boom,
Yeah.
boom,
Oh,
boom,
yeah.
star. Very
Nothing
fun.
but stars.
How are you, old friend?
I'm doing okay.
I heard you mention earlier that you're a little bit upset you didn't get that snow fence up.
Yeah, definitely something I should have done on the weekend. I did get the winter tires on Saturday morning after a little bit of the freezing rain. I was like, I got a little bit of time. I should probably, thinking it was still like premature. Like, I'm going to be driving on for a couple weeks before snow. But here we are, a few days later, and bango, foot of snow.
Yeah.
You know?
And as a guy who recently discovered how useful snow fences are, I know what you're going through.
Yeah, so I think there is still hope for me. The ground shouldn't be too frozen. I'm basically just pounding in T-posts. They're pretty small, so they should go in relatively easy. I've got one of the snow fences out there. I need to acquire another snow fence.
Ooh, if you got one, let him know.
yeah,
Holler at your boy.
But yeah, I'll grab one, a couple more posts, and we'll bang it in.
Good. Well,
I guess. Yeah.
And yeah, I noticed because we'd back out of the driveway and all the snow would fall. It was like down an angled driveway, and all the snow would fly in, and we're right up against the street. So the wind would blow it all in, and then that snow, as you know, it's not light, fluffy snow.
No.
It's rock hard. So we'd have to get the whole family up at 5 a.m, get all of our chisels out and go and bust it up while we got the big snowblower going through.
Yeah.
It's a whole process.
Yeah, and it's really, I look at the forecasts, and last night, like Laurel and I were out having a snowball. I was shoveling some gravel kind of in front of the garage door because my driveway isn't finished, so I've piled up some gravel to at least get in the garage, but it was kind of low and loose and whatever. And there's only like 4 or 6 centimeters coming. Like, that's not so bad, but it's the wind that, in some places, sure, you'll get a couple centimeters, but in another spot, you'll get a foot because it's just the way it drifts and blows. And then, like you say, it's hard and you can't just kind of plow through it.
Yeah. Like Network Ryan was supposed to come in today and he said he couldn't even make it out of his driveway.
Oh, yeah?
And he lives on the acreage out of town there.
Oh, yeah.
So he's the same thing, man. It's the wind.
Yep.
It's not the snow, it's the wind.
Yeah. So
welcome to Talking Weather with a couple of old guys here on your show. Our sweet, beautiful Prince Matt had to leave and be, what's the term? Chivalrous. Very chivalrous, as his beautiful wife needed a ride. So he picked her up, got her, dropped her off. He's on his way back, so he'll be here joining us in a couple minutes, hopefully. And we will get into all the stuff that's been going on. Now, I want to save the Iron Mike Tyson talk for when he does get here.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh boy, was that ever something. We didn't really get to touch on it much yesterday. Our buddy Crazy Pakester was in the house.
Yeah.
Good old Pakester, and he did not disappoint with his debut on the show. And he touched on a lot of things. A lot of our friends, you know about the Pakester because he's so crazy in all the best ways. And his stories from being involved in movies since 2003, they are abundant and fantastic. So thank you again to him for getting in here as we have the triumphant return of Mr. Chivalry himself.
The chivalrous chauffeur.
Ooh, very well said.
Hey, thank
and
you.
he brings her with him.
I live for alliteration. Oh, there you go.
This is what I'm talking about. All right, hold on.
Chivalrous chauffeur.
We got the world's greatest couple in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Matt from All the Bands. Yeah, buddy. There he is.
What an entrance.
Coming in hot.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
You got to say it right. It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah, you can't say it unless you're singing it like that.
Always. It's just sort of a golden rule we have around here. Welcome back. How are the roads? Let's get a live road update
They suck.
right now.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
Basically, you just let the road tell you where you're going. If it sucks you to the one side, you're like, all right, I guess we're going in the left lane.
Oh, shit. Speaking of which, so I'm on the way to work this morning, driving down Circle Drive, doing 70 or 80 kind of with traffic.
Flying.
And I was, I was on a merge, so I pulled in the left lane, let people in. I'm kind of stuck behind this guy, so I go into the right lane. One of those big ass 30-gallon garbage cans in the middle of the lane, and of course I don't see it because I'm behind someone. And right as soon as I go to change lanes, it's in the middle of the lane.
Surprise!
Holy shit! And I had to do one of these quickly. Fortunately, I had my winter tires on.
Of course,
so
you did a nice evasive maneuver.
I was pretty
no
impressed,
harm,
and
no
I'm like,
foul.
Oh my god, am I gonna hit it or am I gonna? Yeah, it's like, yeah, sorry, bud. But yeah, I avoided it fortunately without ending up in the ditch myself or crashing into somebody else. But it was a little dicey. There for a little bit.
I believe it.
You missed the part where he said he just casually switched his tires over.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I did that on Saturday. After the freezing rain, I was like, that's a bit of a wake-up call.
See,
I should probably
I've got a
put 'em
wife
on.
that thinks ahead. So when did you're like, there's supposed to be snow 3 weeks ago, and then I did both of ours 3 weeks ago,
that's
and it was
probably
easy.
smart.
And my dad has the impact wrench and stuff, so it's like
You're like a pit stop in
yeah,
there.
it's nothing. And he's even got one of those nice hydraulic jacks.
yeah.
You pump it up and then you just twist it, and it goes. Oh man, it's such a game changer.
So I still use the jack that comes with the car.
Yeah.
But
I thought you just lifted it.
Oh yeah, just by hand. But I put my impact
me.
on that because it's got a hex.
Oh, sweet.
And then it
just
goes
shoots
up
right
and
up.
down quite fast. But here I was thinking I was still really premature putting my tires on Saturday because we're gonna be another month before snow. Here we are, 2 days later, 3 days later. Glad I did it.
Paid off.
It did.
I changed a tire once. I sit here listening to you manly men. My 1990 Crown Vic, one of the most beautiful cars you will ever experience.
They
It was
are
like driving
beautiful.
a
Oh
cloud.
man, they're beautiful.
And we ripped it up to the lake, me and a couple of ladies. And my manliness was challenged as we were on a dirt road and one of the tires went out. I was like, well, guess we can try, see what happens. So I got the jack out. It's still there. It's like, thank God. And there was a tire. I was like, well, we could do this. We jack her up, and I managed to get the tire off, get another tire on. And then right when I finished, literally the second the tire was on, the whole car went whomp. I was like, okay, we're good. Let's go.
It just like fell off the jack?
The jack just fell over. It went thunk. So I like to the second. And that's when I said, well, I'm never going to do this again.
Yeah.
Like, I got to have someone else that can do this. Like,
because you were tightening them when it was.
I had no idea what I was doing. Like, there could have been a million reasons why. I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, like you put it down and then you do the final tightening. That's,
Anything could have happened. I have no idea. All I know is I got the tire on and got back. I was very proud. Impressed everyone.
But yeah, I still like having I always go over to my parents and do it, and it's like a good bonding thing for me and my dad. But it's not like he's got the torque wrench, so you set it to like 90 or whatever the specs are. My dad makes sure it's like we need to look at we got to make sure that it's the exact torque.
Retorque after 100 kilometers.
That's right. But yeah, we'll always do that, and then he likes, we're tightening it up and it clicks and he's like, you see, and now that shows that it's 90, and it's one of those he'll tell me every time for the rest of our lives or whatever. And same too with like what torque means and stuff like that.
Thanks,
but it's pretty awesome. Like I never really was into anything like that until basically a few years ago when I was on my own and I realized I need to know how to do this stuff. So I'm like, maybe I could get a little interest in the minor auto mechanic stuff.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's hard to do if you have no one to teach you. I've been taught numerous times by my dad, greatest dad in the universe. I'm no good at it.
Yeah.
Like I can understand what I need to do, but I just can't do it because I'm useless. And I'm okay with that. That's sort of where I'm at. I can talk. That's why we're here.
good at talking.
That's all I got.
I find
literally it's all I can do.
With certain jobs like that or anything, where you do them once a year or whatever, like by the time you get to it the next year, I forgot, the main parts of what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, 100%. As we continue here on your show, the All That Angst podcast, Boys in the House, we just recorded another episode that will be dropping on Thursday like they always do. It's going to be a lot of fun. On that episode, we talked a little bit, and we're going to get into it here, about the biggest scam in the history of fights. Mike Tyson, Iron Mike Tyson, the idol for anybody who grew up in our time. The epitome of the Grim Reaper in human form. This guy ate souls. That's what he did. He would eat souls, and then he would go and have intercourse with a million ladies until he had to do it again. That was his shtick.
And then bite your ear off.
And then bite. He would do a lot of things. So I have this thing on Twitter, and we will get into it a little bit as it pertains to exactly what we're about to talk about. But the fakest fight in the history of mankind. Mike Tyson comes out in that first round, and he looked like Mike Tyson. He looked like the guy we were all expecting to see. And then all of a sudden, just nonchalantly, they do a sort of wrap-up, and you can see Jake Paul saying some things. You can see Iron Mike Tyson acknowledge it by patting him on his shoulder. And there's a whole bunch of videos breaking this down, because obviously it's like the biggest fight ever. And after that moment, it was a totally different fight. Mike Tyson went from being able to push, like not even punch, just the impact of his fist, pushing Jake Paul so far back, making him say, dude, you have to chill out or you're not getting paid. That's the rumor that he said. And then from that point on, Mike Tyson was literally watching a fist from here that he could easily say, I don't want that, because he's Mike Tyson. That's what, his training videos, you could see he has that in him. It's like, all I can do is talk. All that guy can do is fight. That's all he knows. He does it in his sleep. So something as simple as like a little overhand right coming around and him just standing there and eating it, like watching it go into his face. And those other moments where Jake Paul, because I hate to say it, he's not a boxer. He's not. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how you try to justify it. The guy's a piece of shit. Okay? And he throws one and opens up the entire side of his face. Mike does this. It's over here. Here's Jake Paul's face. And Mike's like this. And he just holds it there. Like, punch him. Just one. That's all it takes. But no, because you got to get that money. And it got to the point where people have broken this down so much that he would start biting his boxing glove. Like he was, I don't know if there's a biting joke in there somewhere, but instead of biting the air, he's biting his boxing glove to remind him, I'm not allowed to crush this soul.
It would be tough for someone like Mike with that killer instinct to
you're
under the gun, you've got the whole world watching you, and then you're just supposed to be like, I'm just going to take it. I'm just like
money, man.
Money. Yeah. But does he need it, or I don't know.
He needs it.
He does. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I have no clue.
I can tell you right now exactly why he needs it, because I got a bunch of these
pet tigers.
These facts. Oh yeah. So Where is one here? Talking about... so he went to jail, as we know. And I'm just going to throw a couple of these at you because they're so humorous to me. So Mike Tyson went to jail, and he got 6 years was his sentence. He got out in 3. But he was convicted, and trying to reduce his sentence in a desperate display, he consulted a psychic who advised him to urinate on a $500 bill and hand it to her. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know $500 bills don't exist, right? As far as I know. So that was sort of where his
That's
head
way
was
too
at.
rich for my
Yeah.
blood.
So he goes to jail, and this is how they described the jail. It said, Tyson eats KFC in his cell, shags visiting fans in the prison garden, and ends up getting his counselor pregnant. All in jail. As he recalls, and this is a quote, I was having so much sex that I was too tired to even go to the gym. I just stay in my cell all day. He gets out, $200 million worth of fights are lined up. $200 million. He went and saw the Tiger King, bought a couple tigers. One of his tigers ended up eating tearing one of his neighbor's arms off.
Oh, lovely.
Because the neighbor was reaching over trying to pet the tiger. So this goes on, and I'm just trying to look for the fortune. His drug test, because he had a crippling cocaine habit. He said to trick drug testers, he would use a prosthetic penis called the Wizinator. Now, the Wizinator, this thing made huge news back in the day because a bunch of football players were using it too. And it's just like a fake wiener that you...
Fake Johnson?
Yeah, fake Johnson with fake pee. And that's how he was passing all that.
Like it's just real pee, like in some sort of like
he would use his baby's
bladder?
pee. So his child, he would use the child's pee. And here's what I was looking for. Despite earning $300 million in his career, $300 million, he declared bankruptcy in 2003, owing $23 million.
Oh.
So he needs the money.
Man.
He needs it. And another real quick thing, the reason I sort of bookmarked this was because this whole thing, and the reason we know that it's fake is because I remember Mike Tyson, to just give you an idea of what he was like. And I talked about it on Friday. The book Tyson, if you're only going to read one book in your life, read his book. Because until I read that, I was like everyone else. I thought, man, this guy's just crazy. Like, he's a piece of garbage. He's doing all these horrible things. Like, he's not in a good place. And then you read his book and you learn about his upbringing. Like, he was fighting grown men in his neighborhood that would come to his door when he was 11 years old. They would come there just to fight Mike, because Mike was a fighter. And then he started training and he started crushing everyone. 1986, just give you an idea of why this whole thing was a charade. 1986, Iron Mike gets his first shot at the heavyweight title. And as this says, there was just one problem. Iron Mike had gonorrhea.
Gonorrhea!
Going into his first ever title fight. And then Mike was quoted as saying, and this is Iron Mike quoting, so this isn't me, this is a quote from the guy in the Times. I didn't know if I had contracted it from a prostitute or a very filthy young lady. That's what he said about it. And then he goes in and becomes the youngest heavyweight champ ever with gonorrhea. You're telling me that guy couldn't clean the ring with a YouTube wannabe boxer?
So wait a second. He was the youngest ever champion or the youngest ever with gonorrhea?
Both.
Okay.
Guaranteed.
And does the gonorrhea, does that make you more like...
It's
I don't know,
supposed to
like,
make you
more,
less. Like, I'm sure there has been. But just the idea that was his first title that he ever won. He did it as sort of something to do around his actual life of like drugs and women.
Yeah, there's already scandal attached to it from the get-go.
Yeah, so like it opens up so many doors when you actually look at what this guy's been through and what he's capable of. So that's why I'm saying straight off the bat, this...
I mean, I've gone to work with a cold before.
Maybe you've gone to work with a cold
flu.
on your wiener. If your wiener had a cold, it'd be a different story. I'm just saying.
I mean, if I've got it, my whole body's got it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's fair.
This is
Enough
true.
about the apparently they're called STIs now.
Yeah,
Right?
infections.
Not STDs anymore. Yeah.
Interesting.
Never had one,
Hey,
fortunately.
I'm just happy we got rid of the term STD finally.
Yeah.
You know,
It
I
was
feel
getting
it's not very
annoying.
nice. Yeah. Also clean. Here for cleanliness. As we are talking about the boxing match, not about STIs.
Not about raw dogging.
Exactly. So that's sort of where I'm coming from. That this entire thing, and I used the line with the boys on the group chat. This was about as real as that assassination attempt on our president. You know what I mean? Like, it's just everything about this is just no. There's no way. And then what's that? Dude,
Good call, LB.
that's the joke, you dungus. How do you not get that? We're Canadian. He's not our president. But he's everyone's president because he's the president. Young kids, man, they just don't get it. They don't
No
get humor.
respect.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I mean,
Lay it on me. Give me some info. I've talked way too much here. I talked way too much.
What the younger generation going into this fight was hoping or expecting or thinking. Like, obviously, you know, like not kids, but young adults that obviously hadn't been brought up with Mike Tyson. And I was never really like into boxing, I guess. There was a time where I watched a couple matches, but I never, was never into it, right?
But the video game itself.
Well, I mean, exactly. I think it caught up in like in Mike Tyson. Like he's been around.
Sport.
Totally
Transcended. Yeah.
But I'd be interested to see or to hear someone's take from a younger generation where they maybe weren't brought up with Mike Tyson being this legend. They had maybe heard about him, but never really knew much about him. And obviously, Jake Paul for the last 10 or 15 years has been all over the social media, all over whatever. So their experience with the two would favor just because they've been, inundated with Jake Paul being everywhere and on the social medias and on the whatever. Whereas Mike Tyson, like they're,
just some guy from The Hangover.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
it'd just be interesting to see or to hear, how a younger generation felt.
I would love to see the numbers on that. The numbers of the viewership, as in age-wise.
You break it down.
That's a great point. Like, if you grew up being a Jake Paul fan, then I guess you'd want to support him. But going in not knowing anything about Mike Tyson, why would there be any allure there at all, except just to watch your YouTube guy or your, what is he, a Disney Channel rapper, LB? Disney Channel YouTuber. But he was a rapper too, right? He had a rap song you showed me?
Yeah, but that was part of YouTube.
Oh, okay. The guy rapped too. Okay. So like that, I get upset, you guys. I get really upset when I think about just all the corruption. All of the people making money off this. And we haven't gone into the debacle of the actual execution of the event. But why would kids want to watch? Like, there's nothing there.
Well, I guess just everything is kind of a little bit fake, so it doesn't really matter, I guess maybe is the justification.
Yeah. This Jake Paul alone, because we all watched it, because not only do we love Mike Tyson, because we grew up idolizing this guy, again, in the ring, just the idea of seeing someone so hated getting knocked the F out, like that was the allure for all of us. That's all we wanted as older people. Yeah, right?
And it was a how-to on how to pump up a fight. Like every single human was aware that this was going to happen. Yeah.
People that have never even blurted out the word boxing, let alone looked into it anyway, we're watching this fight.
Like I'd said, like me and Aaron, we were looking at it. Or I was like, yeah, I think I kind of want to watch that. And you were like, yeah, I do too. And that we're not two people that tend to
totally.
Exactly.
Like, focus. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Aaron used to watch a lot of boxing. But.
Coach Mazer just said the social medias are filled by clips. It's not hard to research Mike Tyson. The kids know in 8 minutes. Yeah, but Coach Mazer, you're thinking kids are going to study anything? Come on.
I don't doubt that they could obviously figure out who he was, but I would.
They wouldn't know him.
I would venture to guess that they would side with, or their favorite would be Jake Paul.
Their contemporary,
in that match, I think
right?
The question is, do kids actually like Jake Paul, or do they hate watch him like we?
That is one thing I would like to know.
Yeah,
I think he's on the screens, and so it's
programmed in the brain.
It's totally. It's just it's there. It's in your face. It's like, why do you choose Coke or Pepsi or whatever? Because who's got more advertising, or whatever, right? It's like we do these things subconsciously and like without even knowing it.
And I'll admit, like, I don't know anything about Jake Paul at all. Yeah. Like, the only reason I don't really like him is basically just based on like he looks like really annoying and entitled.
I called him on Friday. We talked about this in great depth, and I called him a human piece of garbage because that's the aura he's putting out. He's putting out I'm better than everyone, and you're so lucky to be able to look at me.
Yeah, if I saw him at the pub, I would immediately be like, I don't like that guy. I don't know you. I don't want to know you.
And that's his career. Like, could you imagine that being your means for living? Just making everyone hate you? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to say I feel sorry for the guy. I'll never feel sorry for him. I do feel like that's got to be a tough way to live.
At some point, I'm sure it'll get old.
Yeah.
Well, everyone loves one of those comeback stories, right?
Yeah. When he's going to his gold house with his rocket car, I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah. Got pretty lonely in that house and car, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Just saying. That's a hating. Oh, well, a hating. That's another one of those sayings I hate. Just saying. I'm just saying. What are you trying to say? I'm just saying. Sorry. I catch myself with these stupid terms that I have on lists that I want to put out to the world. Not to use.
I know there's certain ones like me and Aaron's old vehicle, our Vibe. I know you don't like that one, the Pontiac
But it
Vibe.
was actually called the Vibe. See, it's the name of the vehicle.
No, but you're saying, well, there's good vibes. There's good vibes.
Yeah, Sorry, this isn't about me. This isn't Gary's therapy time. Let's get into the execution of this event. I felt so bad. I think I used the term I was punching myself in the wiener over and over again for not bringing up the idea that this match had so much hype that there's no way it was going to be a smooth stream. I had it written down in my phone, like, make sure you bring this up. But then, me being me, I don't like to look at all the notes in the phone because I want to be conversational, and that seemed like something big enough that I'd remember. But we got caught up in the actual talk with we had like 4 different people come in here, and we had a whole rotation going on about what everyone thought. And I wanted to say, I will not be surprised if this actual fight goes on with no one watching, because there's going to be so many people trying to log into a Netflix account that it's going to blow up the whole thing. There was way too much demand for this, especially because there was no price tag on it. So I wanted to do like a whole talk on, hey, I'd love to make a bet on that. Will this fight actually make it to Netflix? Because I would have lost, because technically it did for a lot of guys like LB, who lucked out somehow. Got to watch the whole thing on his Netflix, unlike us, who had to scramble to watch it. Antonio Brown, former football superstar, he was at the fight, and he just decided to live stream it on Twitter. And once word got out, he got up to 5.2 million viewers on his Twitter feed of him with his phone focused in on the Jumbotron at AT&T Stadium. And that's how people watched it. 5.2 million before it broke down. And then we lost that feed, and then you couldn't watch the rest of the fight. I think it got through like 3 or 4 rounds, though. It's pretty cool.
Jeez.
But there were so many people, and this leads into, for the first time ever, 2 NFL football games on Christmas Day on Netflix, and you got Monday Night Raw moving to Netflix in the next year, and there's these big, huge live events that they're going to be covering, and this was a very bad sort of
You don't want to second one of those, because that would, I imagine most advertisers would be pretty like skeptical if you're putting in, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars, and it might stream, it might not.
Like you would think that someone would have questioned that. If a jabroni like me is thinking about it, how do you not have an expert sitting there at Mr. Netflix Town being like, guys, are we sure we got the bandwidth? Is that the right bandwidth? Is that the right term? No. Are you sure we got the right stuff set up so we can put this on the air? Like, who was the asshole? Like, yeah, boss, don't worry, we got this. We're Netflix, man. Chill.
Somebody's laid back Gary approach didn't really work.
I'm not involved in those. We'll work through
this.
it.
Let's freestyle it.
Man, I've done that with this guy so many times, eh? LB, they'd be like, oh, I don't know. Let's just go for it, see what happens. Like, okay. And then lots of times really good things come up, and lots of times, you know, they don't. Yeah. It's just the way she goes. Were you expecting anything like that? Or was I the only guy who was like, man, this doesn't seem like the best way to go about this?
It had crossed my mind. I was like, I wonder how they're going to deal with that amount of demand. But I just assumed, I'm like, Netflix is huge. Right. They got it. They've got like computer guys that can deal with that.
It was only when things started glitching out that it's like, well, of course it's not going to work.
It made
You've
perfect
got
sense.
like half the 3/4 of the globe, maybe not that much, but you know what I mean, like way
really
more
large
than what
number,
people are streaming on a normal Friday night watching a movie kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, and then so it was like, well, obviously that's what's happening. Like, it doesn't matter, because we were trying it on different phones, we were trying it on tablets, whatever, trying to reconnect, turn it off, unplug.
We were turning off like Wi-Fi on our phones to make sure that wasn't affecting our
Restart the
router.
router.
We all stood on one side of the
Yeah.
house, and then everyone moved to the other side of the house, and put our arms up in the air and whatever. Nothing worked, and then it was like, well, it's not going to work, right?
This is what you're getting.
So.
And then, we were just like trying to see who won. And then like all the videos we were like watching seemed like kind of like AI put together like YouTube things. And I'm
Shady.
just like, is that how it works? Is like they didn't even fight and then they're just going to like create all this stuff and nobody's going to know who, like, I don't know. My mind
Who
went
knows?
a little bit
Anything's
conspiracy
possible.
theory.
Maybe
like,
it was all planned for Netflix to crash and not get the video. I don't know.
Maybe Antonio
Take
Brown.
it to a next level.
Maybe Antonio
was all
Brown
planned.
said, "Hey Netflix, let this thing crash so I can boost up my viewership on my Twitter feed."
But yeah, would people be talking about it as much if it just like didn't crash?
Right.
I don't know.
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Any possibilities? And then the conversation was like, would this have happened if it was a pay-per-view thing? And
We just know the demand wouldn't have been high enough to be
You wouldn't have
crashing
had that
systems
many people
because
tuning in.
that was the whole
Dare
reason.
I say, they would have put up not even close. Like it would be a disappointing
a
number
fraction.
because everyone was so borderline, not even borderline, just so unwanting to watch it.
Yeah, like me and Aaron said, we were just like, should
No
we
need
watch it?
for
And
it.
we're like, it's on Netflix,
Right,
it's
you can
free,
just
we
turn it
may as
on.
well. But
My poor mom was texting me. She's like, "I thought the fight was on. I can't get it." And she couldn't even find it on the Netflix. I was like, "I'm pretty sure the biggest fight in the world is going to be front and center when you open it." But she couldn't even find a way to get on it.
Well, and how many people probably signed up, like if you didn't have Netflix, signed up that night or like 10 minutes before the fight or whatever, right?
Very interesting. So LB watched on Netflix. We didn't get to watch on Netflix. Maze just said another thing. I'm just going to throw this out there because he's amazing. This probably makes sense in some way. He said, Cove Cola from Costco, better than Coke or Pepsi. Put that in your face, Uncle Mike.
Give me one. Bring me one.
Is there something?
I will put it in my belly, not just in my face.
All right, amazing.
I've never had the comparison. I don't know.
I guess we got to check into some Cove Cola.
I'm not a big pop drinker, I guess, but I do enjoy a Coke.
yeah, I just really enjoyed from our 90s. Remember the Coke Pepsi challenge?
Oh,
And
yeah.
any grocery store you'd go to, they'd have the little thing.
Set
and
it
then-
up. Can you tell?
Murray always got it. He knew.
yeah.
He knew.
Merv's knows.
I didn't have a discerning palate.
That's a good way of putting it.
I
out.
think I'd have a better chance now, maybe.
Yeah, I would say
Tell.
so.
Years
but-
of comparing
Yeah.
and working on the mouth palate as we are hanging out
Yeah.
on a Tuesday here with the All That Angst podcast boys, recapping the fight that never really fought. I don't know how else to put it. The just breaking the fight down from what we've been able to see. Like, I wish I could watch the back half of the fight to see how it all went down. But from all the footage I can see, it really, truly feels like the fix was in and Mike Tyson had to make some money instead of making, history. Being the oldest guy to ever win a sanctioned fight or whatever it is. Like, there's all these things that he could have did. But instead, it was money, which is what it always is, and it's very depressing, but I understand it. Your thoughts on what you saw from the fight? Anything that you take away from it?
Didn't get to see the fight live, so saw some clips. I mean, it definitely looked like Mike Tyson was holding back. I mean,
whole time.
it didn't look like he was really into it. There was, and I've read some stuff, so maybe my view of it is skewed. But, as a trained fighter for the last 40, 50 years, he had to convince himself to not do what he has done the last 40 years.
Not only that, he had
crush
to
everyone.
He had to
right?
do it without people noticing.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think lots of missed opportunities, lots of, just not throwing the punches.
They were all there. They were all there for him, and he just held back. Any thoughts?
Well, all of my like knowledge of this fight just comes from memes because
Yeah.
after it was done and then we found out Jake Paul won, I was like, I'm just not interested.
Yeah.
I don't really have anything valuable to add.
Yeah.
You said an interesting thing before talking about looking for the clips and having them look like they were like AI generated. Like it wouldn't surprise me.
You know what I mean? Like you get these YouTube
Yeah.
videos and it's like, it could be real, but honestly, I don't know. Like we were,
They were like 24 hours before the fight. Though. Like,
yeah.
that, like,
But either, like one of them, Mike Tyson had won. And we're like, oh, sweet. And then the other one,
There's people running, yeah. Well, all the rumors about this stuff, like Emily May was here on Friday. She was talking about how she heard there was some sort of stipulation that Jake Paul could tag in Logan Paul at any time to box. I was like, Emily May, come on, dude. This ain't WWE, you know? But the fact that people can think that because you have so many non-boxing people coming into the sport of boxing.
Yeah.
It wasn't sanctioned.
It was sanctioned. Oh, yeah.
I thought they were
No, it was
disqualified
very.
for that.
No, there was before because this fight was supposed to happen, what, 6 months ago, I think, something like that. And I think that one wasn't.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And then they redid, and I thought the same
I
thing.
thought they were both like disqualified.
Yeah, no, LB made sure, 'cause I made sure he checked that so we don't seem like we're totally out to lunch, but it was a sanctioned fight. And within that, apparently, Jake Paul wrote a set of rules for the fight. And it's like, if you knock me out in the first round, you're not getting paid. It's like, if you do this and this, you're not getting paid. So not only did Mike have to restrain himself, but he also had to sort of go with the script of the actual fight.
But I don't
it's
like.
just
How can
wild.
it be a sanctioned fight if there are those rules? I
You
don't.
guys are
like,
so
it doesn't
smart.
make
You ask
sense.
such great questions.
They were both, there was some news about it, they were both like disqualified from it or something. Or they were suspended or something from fighting.
I can tell you this for sure, because LB and I had to talk about this.
They got suspended, but
Yeah.
the suspension is a bit different in boxing.
Okay.
It basically is just a way of protecting the fighters, saying you cannot fight for a certain amount of time. It's a way of like protecting.
Recovery for the brain and all that. CT, that chronic traumatic encephalopathy will get you. The reason you're allowed to do this, and I know you're allowed to, is because you can bet on WrestleMania, which is obviously a scripted event. But the way they did this, and this is where it gets really sort of greasy, with WrestleMania, your max bet was $50. You couldn't bet any more than $50 because there are scripts out there that you get your hands on and you will know the winners. So I figure that's sort of the same way with this. Being a sanctioned event, you're allowed to bet on it. But at the same time, they had no max bet limit. So they're sort of going the WWE route, but at the same time, not really, because they're not saying a 50 mil max. And just sort of or $50 max. When you break it all down and you look at it and you look at this event and the amount of bets that you could make. We were making bets in the studio here. Hardcore was sitting in this chair. She's like, which one should we go with? I told her to go paying 25 to 1. Both boxers get 1 point deducted. And we almost got there. It's close, apparently. But the idea that you can bet your entire house on this fight is what makes it different than wrestling. So it's a weird thing.
Jake Paul's buddy knows the script or whatever,
Yeah.
and he can just put his house on, and then he ends up winning a bunch of money like that.
Now you're
And Pete Rose isn't in the Hall of Fame. Give me a break.
Now you're seeing why betting and sports has been pushed apart for so long. Once they opened the floodgates, once they had pro teams in Vegas and everyone's allowed to bet on anything, anytime, anywhere, all the time now, there's a lot of that stuff
I
that
just
they have to sniff out.
still
That's
don't see
on.
why you can't bet on yourself. Like you should always be assuming you're going to be the winner. Like
I always
bet on myself.
Your overlords say you can't.
Okay.
That's
Fair
why.
enough.
That's it. You want to go in the Hall of Fame? Don't you dare bet on yourself.
Don't believe in yourself.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's-
Got it.
Oh, that's depressing. Let's get into something that's not depressing. Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. The reason so many people our age were so enamored with the idea of this fight is because we grew up playing Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. We grew up with the one buddy who could beat Mike Tyson, and all the boys would gather around and watch him. It's like, hey, you want something cool? They'd enter the Mike Tyson code at the start. My brother Davey, he'd do this to entertain friends. They'd come over like, hey, you want to see me beat Mike Tyson? Oh, hell yeah, dude. Put the code in. He could tell you the code right now. I guarantee he has it memorized. And the passcode takes you straight to Iron Mike, and then that was the entertainment. But all the other boxers in the game, like it's what got a lot of kids into boxing, like most things do. This video game. You guys ever play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out at all?
I remember playing at your house with the Power Glove.
Yeah.
Lucas loves the Power Glove.
Very briefly.
Hell yeah.
I played it a little bit. I'd say I was more into the Super Punch Out, like Bear Hugger, Gabby J.
Super Nintendo guy,
yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, I played it a bit,
And
whenever you would go to the video game store and it was actually not rented out because there was only the one copy.
Jackpot.
Oh man, I mean, sometimes like I would get there and we were like humming and hawing between a couple video games, so I would take the one and kind of just like hide it, underneath like I don't know,
Getting sneaky.
Yeah,
something no one would ever
like
dare take.
Golf, or I don't know which ones.
See, and the relevancy in this conversation is that we were sort of indoctrinated into this thing because we were, and I say we, I know you guys didn't play it as much as I did, but we would play Mike Tyson's Punch-Out all the time. So just through the pulp culture, through the transcendence of him getting a video game, you now have this huge, giant group of people who look back on that game and look back on the fights, and the nostalgia is so strong. And that's why we wanted to watch this. The transcendence of Mike Tyson, just through a video game. Like, I think that says so much about him as a person because we all knew everything that he was doing all the time. He was a celebrity. He wasn't a boxer. And then you get your classic fish out of water, where this is a guy who grew up on the streets, was used and abused by every single person in his life, had no idea how to function in society. Yet here he is walking around with tigers and bricks of cocaine, not knowing any better, just doing what he does. And then he goes out and murders a guy in the ring over and over again. Like he was so good at what he did. The Buster Douglas fight, his first loss. There's a quote in here, and I can't really use all the terms, but very sassy. Buster Douglas was a 42-1 underdog, and they were fighting at the Tokyo Dome in Japan. And Mike said all he did the entire time there, didn't train for a single second. He made love to Japanese women the entire time. That's all he did. No training, no nothing. That is what he did. He gets in the ring, and you can see it. Even with no training or anything, it was still, looking like Mike.
Got that afterglow?
Definitely afterglow, and like a lot of afterglow. And Buster comes out, caught a guy who just wasn't ready. He wasn't trained up, wasn't anything, because he was Mike Tyson. He had better things to do than train for Buster Douglas, 42-1 underdog. And then Buster comes out, and then Buster gets his own video game for the Sega Genesis. How cool is Buster Douglas's boxing? So Mike Tyson started this thing where these other boxers, and Evander Holyfield got his own game, and it sort of went in, but Mike was the first guy to say, hey, we can make video games and make money out of this. Like, let's do it. But he was like such a trailblazer in how to be successful as a boxer. You know what I mean? Like, he was hitting all those
build
things. Build a following.
Cult of personality where you're drawn to this person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, CM Punk. Yeah, let's see. It's very good. As a wrestling reference, I guess there's no wrestling fans here. CM Punk comes out to that song.
Okay.
It's very cool. So my point here, and I want to get your takes on this as well, is when you come out and do something like that, and then you become, because since The Hangover, that's sort of where Mike's career came back, right? He got in the movie and he did his thing, and then everyone's like, oh yeah, Mike Tyson, I wonder what he's up to. And he's sort of been on this redemption tour since then, making people love him again. After, like, if you look at his rap sheet alone, like, this dude has done some horrible stuff. But if you're lucky enough to have read his book, you go from being like, yeah, this guy's really messed up, to, oh, wait, that makes sense. Oh, wait, that's why he's like this. Oh, my God, this guy has been through so much. He goes from, like, this huge villain to someone you can cheer for. And then you see him taking these next steps and doing good things. And I feel like all of that, all of this stuff that he's been doing to, bring his name back to relevancy and to not have people say, oh, yeah, that guy was a crazy, horrible human being, then you go out and do this.
And now does that kind of sully?
That's what I'm
Because
getting at.
I was really, really rooting for him, and again, like you say, this guy's a flawed character. Where you probably
it would blow your mind. Like the book it changed my entire view of a human. That's why I say the only book you ever read should be that book, because you go through the entire journey of a man's formation, and you realize, like, it changes your entire view of a human being. It's very powerful stuff.
But yeah, now that he's did this, and you're kind of becoming a parody of yourself, and it's like, it's like do I want to, if you were to do something again, now do I want to like get behind him, or is it kind of like, oh, it's just some other like money making shtick or whatever? So it's
tainted him a bit for me. That's
and
my point.
you were saying like he was like 23 million in the hole, like after the
$300 million he made in his boxing career, and in 2003 claimed for or filed for bankruptcy, owing 23 million back.
So with this 20 million, he still might be in the red. That's the bad one.
The bad one, yes. Definitely the bad one. And yeah, so he needed the money. And I get that. I get it. You spent your whole life throwing it away. Now you need it. But there's got to be, like, would he not have made more money if he just said, you know what, Jake? Like, just in the middle of the match.
Let's just do
picture
it.
this.
Yeah.
Middle of the match, everything's starting to go like, oh man, this is all a work. None of this is real. Like, what's going on? And just to see the light go off and say, you know what? I'm Iron Mike Tyson. I don't do this shit.
Yeah.
What am I doing? And then just boom, like move in, boom, boom, boom. Like, I swear on my life, he would only need 2 to 3 punches to drop that dude.
Yeah. And
like
then
he was pushing him back with just little jabs.
You can still recoup your money because Netflix can do a documentary about the moment, that epiphany he had, where
You become, in that second, the photo op of you standing over somebody that everyone on planet Earth despises, and you're the guy that put him down. The photo of him would be everywhere. The opportunities for sponsorship would be everywhere. I feel like he could have made so much more money by saying, hey, Jake, you know that script you wrote? You can have it back. Just lift it up and just punch right through it and just blow his face.
Because again, you're proving everyone wrong too, because they're like, oh, this is all scripted.
Yeah.
You know, this is like just made up for whatever publicity. And then if you did that, it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is real. This is actually real.
In my crazy brain, which is sort of in the mode of this studio, do things that people don't normally do, and you'll stand out. Do something that no one expects. No one expected us to start a content creation studio and to put out an amazing live show every day and to put out these weekly shows that we have. No one expected any of this, but that was the motivation for it. You know what I mean? That was the reason to do it. So to have Iron Mike say, yeah, take your 20 mil and shove it. I'm going to go make 100 mil with the new Mike Tyson game, with the new Mike Tyson book, the new Mike Tyson weed brand that I'm selling, all of these things that he's doing, they would skyrocket because you have just become our savior. You are the guy that put an end to this human being that brings nothing but darkness and sadness and pain, and not the good, like fighting pain, like just makes you hate stuff. This guy makes you hate Jake Paul. He makes
which we don't like doing around here.
Thank you. So if you could eliminate that thing that brings out all this hate, would you not be looked upon as the savior of this world?
So it almost seems like it's penny wise, pound foolish, as far as you got your 20 mil right now, but now your future is for what you can make.
Not only that,
did you end up like...
People think you don't got it anymore. People think you can't fight. Like, for me, to put on a very, very, very tiny scale of perspective, if I were to come out here and just fumble and, mess up all my words and not carry a conversation, I would hate myself. I would hate myself so much because I've said it before, it's all I got. All I can do is have conversations. That's it. So if I just all of a sudden lost that because someone wanted to pay me some money, I would hate myself.
But I think, I wouldn't say Mike Tyson would have shame in doing any, his track record outside of boxing.
Yeah.
But
he's
maybe
on
there's
this.
some things that normal people,
for sure.
Normal people, other people would feel shameful for.
He's on this redemption tour, though. He's trying to bring back a good name for himself. He's trying to place himself back in society and say, hey, I'm not that guy anymore. So I feel like there was so much opportunity for him to just be Mike Tyson. Be yourself. Bet on yourself, man.
Yes, and just integrity, please. It would have been so nice.
Again, I'm sure Jake Paul probably has a bunch of goons and people that'll go after you if you don't do what Mr. Paul says. But you're Mike Tyson. Just punch them in the face too.
Well, it would be more like goons, like you're not going to have people watching your videos because I'm going to make sure no one watches your socials or something.
Fine, do it.
Would they be hired goons?
Hired goons. Yeah, we're the goons.
Hired goons.
Nothing could have made the world happier than Iron Mike just being Iron Mike. the whole world was watching. This was an opportunity for you to do something grand, to do something that I know it wouldn't change the world, but that would bring a little bit of good, if you will, if you can get good from punching a guy in the face till he's out. But man, oh man, missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
Big time. Is there going to be a second fight?
You would think so because the money's so high, but would people fall for it again with that type of advertising? I think so.
They got us all once. They got us all once.
I mean, if it was on Netflix, I would try to watch it again, I guess.
Yeah.
We was taken by the best, but they didn't seem like the best.
I don't think there will. I don't think there will be though. I don't think there's.
No.
I don't think there's really a point. I mean, Jake Paul got what he wanted. Says he can claim that he took down the greatest boxer ever to live. You know. Yeah. And it was like I didn't actually look, but like, did he win every round by points?
No.
Was there
Here we
any
go.
rounds?
Stats man coming in.
First two, and then Jake Paul won the last 6.
Funny how that works, eh? The first two where he was actually boxing, he won.
Right.
So weird.
Yeah.
Get this. 100 and some punches, only landed 18. You're telling me
97, he landed 18.
97 punches thrown, landed 18. Let's just think about that for a second. 97 thrown by a guy who is living on God's green earth to throw punches.
Maybe he was just making love to Texan women before.
Well, he did have that pregame with his butt out. Hey, that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was.
Was digging that.
He's
I'm
no,
happy to
he's
see-
no, he's no Mike, our Mike, but yeah.
He's up there. I was
He's
happy to
up
see
there.
that I'm not the only one with that routine before fights. Just walk around with your cheeks out, getting ready, getting light.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, what was it, the maestro on Seinfeld, you know, where he takes his pants off to keep the perfect crease. I like doing that.
When they're playing pool.
Yeah.
Oh, maestro. Remember when he demanded people call him maestro?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I demand you call me the conductor. Is that something?
Bob Cobb, I think is
Bob Cobb.
Bob Cobb.
Bob
He
Cobb.
would like to be called maestro.
And now we know why. Oh, we're almost done, boys. This has been a great talk. I feel like the therapeutic part of this has been very good for a lot of us. You feel like you got something off your chest, or is that just me? I've talked a lot.
So.
Yeah, I don't know if I was that riled up about it, but I'll admit I'm like ready for like it to move out of like the feeds and be done with it for a bit.
The memes are hilarious.
They are great.
I'm learning about these. LB was showing me a couple. Apparently, Jake Paul's going to fight the skeleton of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. That's the one I was looking forward to
Yeah.
the most.
He'd probably still lose.
Yeah.
Jimmy Carter just turned 100. He's going to give Jimmy one.
Yeah.
You know? And no, the best part, the reason they're so funny is because everyone's like, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Not really that.
Dig up that skeleton. Let's see how he does.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and I don't know. I mean, I guess, like I said, I never really saw the fight. Whatever would have happened, but when you think about it, like there couldn't have really been any other outcome. Like Jake Paul brought this forward, right? He brought it as a show, right? An entertainment thing. Mike wasn't even fighting. He's 60 years old.
Hey, 58. Come on now.
Sorry, 58.
Yeah, everyone
you know.
rounds it up. It's like they still got a couple good years
good
left
years,
in those 50s.
And you know, because what, like, if Jake Paul knocks him out, it's gonna be, well, you fought an old guy, you know. Of course, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
And if Mike Tyson knocks him out, it's like, well, what'd you expect? Some little kid is going in to fight a 40-year veteran boxer, you know.
Danged if you do, danged if
Yeah,
you don't.
exactly.
Well,
Like,
no,
it's
there's
just-
no
I
dang.
don't know.
Make money if you do, make money
Yeah.
if you don't.
Yeah, it's and I get, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's what we pay for is entertainment. It's just not the entertainment we wanted. It was the bad movie, you know.
The worst.
The one you walk out of the theater
Yeah.
of,
You-
I guess. I don't know.
You don't go down with the ship?
I'm too cheap. I would never walk out of a movie,
Yeah.
regardless of how bad it is. Way too cheap. I
Yeah.
paid for this freaking thing. I'm watching
You're
it.
And the
watching it.
popcorn
Doesn't
and
matter.
everything,
Yeah.
the snacks.
Yeah.
$100 deep in this.
Yeah. Yeah, these days.
Man, see, I look at all this and I realize the worst part about getting old is you learn how much money controls everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter how hard you try to shape it or word it or put it out there in a different sort of way, it all comes down to money. Whether we like it or not, that is the problem.
Yep.
So, like, we just witnessed one of the greatest, I'm not going to say scams because a lot of work went into it, and it was legit, but one of the greatest performances in the history of pre-fight buildup.
An injustice.
An
I would say.
injustice. And disgusting displays of humanity.
A disgustus. Injustice.
Disgustus. That's perfect. Very, very, very well said.
Thank you.
So we can all agree the fight was fake.
Mm-hmm.
There won't be a second fight, and Mike Tyson missed his shot at becoming the champion of the world in every sense of the word. You had the opportunity to put an end to a guy that everyone hates, and instead you took the money. We'll never understand the situation. We'll never be able to say, oh, I wouldn't have done that.
I mean, I've also never owned tigers.
Yeah.
As
Okay,
well.
so how about this?
Or yet. There's
Rematch.
still time.
Rematch. Donald Trump is Jake Paul's ring man.
Oh,
I
here
feel
we
like
go.
you really could
Here we
get.
go.
And I don't know who would be Mike Tyson's ring man. He can just have his normal one, but I really feel like that could, I don't know, add a little something to it.
Maybe this will carry over into the wrestling world because Logan Paul is a wrestler. And unfortunately for all of us, apparently he's very good at it. So
I think I always
maybe
got
there
them
is a wrestling thing going
confused.
on.
I
Oh,
always
yeah.
thought Jake Paul went from wrestling to the boxing.
Oh,
that
public
is-
service announcement. Okay.
That is incorrect, right?
Yeah,
I
that is definitely
didn't
incorrect.
know about
Okay.
either one of them until
One-
about a week ago.
Yeah,
So
one wrestles and one boxes. What's that
Okay.
big B? Okay. You got it. Yes. Wow. We got a PSA from Big Brookie. What were the names again?
Casey and Alicia?
Casey and Alicia. That's beautiful. I love it. See the goodness of human beings as a whole shining through yet again. This makes me very happy. Was that over the air or do I need to repeat that? Okay, so the names were one more time? Casey and Alicia in the Walmart parking lot. Thank you so much for digging out my main man, Big B, who forgot his shovel in his vehicle and got stuck. And the only thing they said was, hey, no problem at all, happy to help. Everyone needs to put in a little bit of work so we can all live better. That was me just
Riffing.
minimalizing it, yes. So thank you again to those incredible young
Paraphrasing.
ladies.
There you go.
Paraphrase, thank
Yeah,
you.
What? I wonder what their take was on the fight.
Did you ask them about their take on the fight?
Were they as knowledgeable as me?
What was their age range?
No, Casey and JoJo there. What are the names? Casey and Alicia.
Well, either way, that's another one for the good guys and girls. That's awesome.
All my life, I pray for someone like you. Casey and JoJo? You guys know that?
Nice.
Oh, that
Aaron, we
found
need
it. It's so hard for us not to break into that. All right, we better get Frankie going here before we start singing the entire Casey and JoJo song. Here we go, boys. Play us out. Oh, what a great show yet again today. Thank you so damn much to everybody who joined in on the party. LB on the ones and twos. We got Big B rolling in, giving shout outs. To our beautiful Aaron, thank you. Great to see you again. To these two guys, the co-hosts of the All That Angst podcast, episode 19, dropping on Thursday. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out like we tend to do around here. Also, thank you to the boxing world for allowing us to grieve all of these just angry feelings that we have. Airing of grievances. We're Festivusing. How close are we to Festivus, guys? You still celebrating?
December 23rd, so
There you go.
a little over a month out.
Getting there, getting ready. Going to be a big one this year?
I
Yeah.
would think so.
The polls all signed up?
Oh, it's ready to be put. Actually, no, we always make a different one,
come
basically
on.
out of wrapping paper. Yeah, so we
Nice.
have a few wrapping paper rolls and then tinfoil.
Perfect.
But the stand is
That's the tradition right there. This is good.
and then we have this like just on computer paper. It's like it says Festivus for the rest of us.
That's it.
And we just put it. It's just like black on white.
Hell yeah.
No tinsel for distraction.
As is tradition. Very well done. Oh, it is Christmas time, hey? It has
That
begun.
is our 11th.
Nice.
And thank you to everybody tomorrow, my friends over at Cosmo, getting us ready for the Spirit of Cosmo breakfast going on, as I will be hosting that and looking so very forward to the big morning tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. like we tend to do around here, and it's going to be a good day, as we'll check in with Adrian, the Canadian from Australia, aka Coach Number 1. As well, we'll be talking with my man Brian, who stopped by. He is the latest artist to come through the 3 Hall Public House for the open mic night on Friday, 6 to 9, and then the big show on Saturday. So, action-packed show tomorrow. Looking very, very forward to it. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, as we definitely will around here. Watching these guys play out like this is always just the highlight of the day. Absolutely
I
beautiful.
just like hearing my wife snicker at me.
Karma is oh so real. Do good things. They'll start happening to you, I promise. Have a great night.